Now, if you spend a bit of time looking at the sky, you'll find out you'll find out that all the stars appear to move. If you look very, very carefully, though, you'll find out that there's one star that doesn't appear to move. You can locate that star if you know the direction of north. It's a very, very important star. The star is called Polaris, otherwise known as the pole star. The reason why it doesn't appear to move is because it sits directly above the north pole of the Earth. So the motion of the stars that we see on a daily basis is simply because the Earth is spinning on its axis. It spins counterclockwise in a 24-hour period, and so the stars from our perspective appear to rise in the east, they go across the sky, and then they set in the west. If you look to the north, though, you can identify the star Polaris by two patterns of stars on either side. This is the reason why the Big Dipper is very, very important in the nighttime sky, because for most locations it's circumpolar, the pattern never appears to set, and there are two stars. The first one is called Merak, and the second one is called Duba, and those are collectively known as the pointer stars because they point in the direction of Polaris. So if you can find the Big Dipper in the sky, you can then find Merak and Duba, and you can be drawn to the North Star. So the axis of the Earth points directly towards this star. It's very, very important because once you see it, you know that you're looking north. So if you follow that star right down to the horizon, that is the direction of north. So it's a very, very useful star for navigational purposes. In fact, it's so important that there are more than 10 different names associated with that star. Many different cultures see it as a very, very important star in the sky because it's fantastic for navigation. If you find the star in the sky, then you're looking north. So if we take any random view of the sky, you can get your bearings by seeking out the pole star. It never appears to set, it never appears to move. So here is an all-sky photograph. Okay, so we're looking around the sky now. It's like a fisheye lens has captured the horizon right around the outside edge. And in order to get your bearings, the first thing you want to do is to locate the pole star. So what we're looking for is the Big Dipper, and I can actually see the Big Dipper in the sky. Can you pick it out? I'll just show you the pattern of the Big Dipper. There's the handle, and there's the actual saucepan shape of the Big Dipper. So there's Merak, there's Dubhe, and if you draw a line then, that will take you to Polaris, the pole star. So once you've found Polaris, then you take a line directly from Polaris, the quickest way you can get to the horizon. That will give you the direction of north. Okay, and then you can mark out the other directions. West is over here, south is over here, and then east is over in this direction. Now, if you look very carefully, you can actually pick out the other patterns of stars here. There is the Little Dipper, Polaris, joining those four stars down there. There's the Little Dipper. So that represents the large bear and the small bear. Right. Any chance we could work out what kind of season this is? From the information you've been given so far, can you work out what season it is? There are some interesting hints, like for instance you might want to look at the trees. Are there leaves on those trees? Doesn't look like there's a lot of leaves, certainly on that tree over there. You might not be able to recognize it. That's the case. So it's probably not the summertime, but if you're familiar with the stars, you should be able to see what season it is. What you want to do is you want to look to the direction of south, and you want to see what prominent stars there are into the south. And if you're aware of what's going on, there is a backwards question mark, which is called the sickle. And that is part of the constellation of Leo, the lion. Does that look like a lion in the sky there to you? In the constellation of Leo, at the time of this photograph, there, that one bright object there is actually the planet Saturn. So this is actually the springtime sky that we're seeing here, because Leo is prominent in the spring sky. In fact, you can follow the stars of the spring by taking the handle of the Big Dipper that curves around the sky to the star Arcturus. Arcturus literally means bear chaser. It's in the constellation of Bootes, the herdsman, and then you can follow it around further, it curves around further to the star Spica in the constellation of Virgo the Maiden. Okay, so there's a recognized spring sky. Now, if that's the case, then you may have been wondering while I was drawing this around, why did I put west over here and east over here? Well, the reason why is because we're looking upside down into the sky. Normally you would have never eat soggy waffles. Why are west and east turned around the other way? Well, if you were to take a jar, you may have learned how to open a jar. It's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. If you turn the jar upside down, it's righty-loosey and lefty-tighty. But I can tell that this is over to the west because the constellation of Leo points into the direction of west. And that would mean then that in the west you should see the constellations of winter setting in the west. And that's exactly what you can see here. There's the constellation of Gemini, the twins. In fact, those two bright stars are the twins, Castor and Pollux. And you can also see the prominent constellation, another winter constellation of Auriga. The Charioteer. In fact, the bright star Capella is one of the recognized one of the recognized stars of the winter sky. So there we have the constellations of winter setting in the west and the constellations of the springtime coming into prominence, which is why we know that this part of the sky is actually spring. Okay, so if you have any clear night, if you can identify the pole star, then you'll work out your bearings. Use the Big Dipper to find your way, point in the direction of the pole star. If we zoom in now on the next slide, you can actually see a zoomed in view of that. There is the star Polaris. There is Merak and Duba, part of the Big Dipper. Now let's get the magnitudes here. Duba actually has a magnitude of 1.79. Merak has a magnitude of 2.37. Remember that the lower the number, the brighter the star. Polaris actually has a magnitude of 2.02. So it's not that bright of a star in the sky. It's only prominent, not because of its brightness, but because of its location directly above the planet Earth. Now you can get a good sense of what the sky looks like if you find the 4 stars of the Little Dipper. The brightest one here is called Kokab. Its magnitude is 2.08. Right beside it is Pherkad. Its magnitude is 3.05. And then the next 2 stars are fainter, so they actually don't have names, they just have Greek letters. That's the Greek letter Zeta. It has a magnitude 4.32. And then the final star is the Greek letter Eta, and it is magnitude 4.95. And that means that the Little Dipper is very, very good for getting a sense of what the quality of the sky is. Because you've got 3 stars very, very close together, a magnitude 2, a magnitude 3, a magnitude 4, and a magnitude 5 star. And so if you can see all 4 stars, then you know that the sky conditions are pretty good. Oftentimes from Tampa, you can only see Kakap and Pherkad because the light pollution is quite bad and not so easy to discern those 2 fainter stars of Zeta and Eta. Okay, so that will allow you then to work your way around the sky. That means that as the Earth turns on its axis, stars appear to rotate around the pole star.